Fable 3 is a difficult game to review. It is neither instantly fantastic, nor is it a huge catastrophe. That being said, it is important to know the successes and the failures of Fable 3 before taking the plunge. Everyone is going to see Fable 3 differently, but in the end, we really enjoyed our time in Albion, despite some pretty massive issues.
And so our story begins. The kingdom is on the verge of revolution. But who will be the hero to lead the rebellion?
Fable 3 is the latest fantasy role-playing game from the developers Lionhead Studios, who are just as famous for their unique games as they are for their bombastic claims they make during game development. Once again, players control a hero of Albion as they embark on their journey to cleanse the land of sin or drown the realm into a new age of darkness. Like past Fable entries, Fable 3 relies on morality choices made by the player through the entirety of the game. You play the son or daughter of the hero of Fable 2, who was crowned king, making you the prince or the princess, depending on which gender you choose to play. Your brother, King Logan, has gone off his rocker and made some rather unfavorable political choices, so you and a small band of loyal followers break off and start a revolution for the crown. On your rise to fame, you're tasked with amassing an army capable of overtaking the kingdom itself. The story, while it sounds to be a bit on the dry side for a role-playing game, is actually one of Fable 3's strong points, as it takes a few unexpected turns throughout the game.
Our hero returns, bringing good tidings. And supper.
To gain popularity, you need to befriend the populace by doing individual favors, or by taking on larger quests for groups of people. Most quests will direct you to a dangerous part of the world, instruct you to kill the dangerous stuff, and return back again for gratitude in the form of experience points that you can spend on the road to rule, Fable 3's system of leveling up. The larger quests are fantastic. They take the player through some gorgeous scenery as they fight off the Fable standard baddies of Hobbs, Balverines, and armies of the undead. Escort missions are set to a minimum, but when they do occur, Lionhead did everything possible to keep them entertaining. You can now drag the person you are escorting by hand, which saves them from wandering off in the wrong direction. And the enemies, while they say they're attacking the person you are escorting, they're really only going after the player. To ensure players don't get lost on their quests, a golden trail is laid out before the hero. It's a system left in place from Fable 2, however this time around the trail seems to be finicky at best. It works roughly half of the time. Sometimes the golden trail never reappears after a quick travel, and the rest of the time it either points in the wrong direction or in a direction that you can't go. At launch, a patch is definitely needed. Combat is nearly identical as it was in Fable 2. Players can choose melee weapons with swords and hammers, ranged combat with rifles and pistols, and magical combat which can be used either for individual targets or large groups. The magic system has seen an overhaul. Instead of studying and purchasing individual magic spells, players can acquire magical gauntlets that cast only one spell at a time. Since the player wears two gauntlets, one on each hand, players can mix and match the spells to their playstyle. They can use two of the same gauntlets for maximum effect, or they can use two different types to create unique spells, like mixing ice with vortex and capture their enemies in a vicious ice storm. The experience gained from combat is fairly minimal, but the award from completing quests is where the payoff occurs. Players can win the hearts and mind of the population through crowd interactions. Unlike past Fable entries where the displays of heroic aptitude like flexing and farting were done in front of large groups of people, Fable 3 has made the experience more intimate, making every encounter with each citizen a one-on-one event. Experience points received from interacting with citizens is very large compared to combat. The end result has the experience system feeling pretty unbalanced. When a quick game of patty cakes with a homeless person gives you a greater reward than slaying a pack of bloodthirsty Balverines, then you know something is wrong. Certainly it's in the hands of every player to decide how they want to play, but the quick path to experience is spamming the A button in town to interact with every citizen they can find.
That was great!
We frequently witnessed some frame rate issues in Fable 3, ranging from what we'd consider to be moderate to severe for a console game. They'd even occur during non-fight scenes and in tighter environments, so we couldn't immediately explain away the problem due to processor overload. To cut down on the effect, we even tried to install the game on the 360's hard drive. It had little effect. That, on top of the long and frequent load times, Fable 3 is going to leave you twiddling your thumbs. A lot. We're hoping for a patch soon. Hopefully these issues won't be a problem when it arrives on PC. Our final large complaint comes from the game's menu system, which has almost been entirely replaced by an interactive environment. Need to change your clothes? You physically walk to your changing room. Want a different weapon while mid-fight? You pause the game and walk to your armory. Stylistically, it's wonderful, but the menu system in a game isn't primarily about style. It's about function, and functionally, it's horrendous. To manage all of your property owned in the game, you need to pause the game, walk to the map table, zoom in on the individual town, select the home you want to manage, open its menu, and then you can manage your property. Properties need to be regularly maintained in Fable 3, so you'll be going through this process a lot. The more properties you own, the bigger the headache gets as you manually update every one of your homes. All of that could have been easily replaced with a property management tab on a standard menu screen. The same could be said about quest management, weapon management, and clothing management. This, we fear, is too large of an issue for a patch to fix. A lot of players are going to be majorly turned off by it. On the other hand, the story is wonderful. We love the art style. The voice acting is second to none, the humor is impeccable, except you'll hear the same jokes over and over again by evil garden gnomes. The combat feels rewarding and the questing is fantastic. It will provide many gamers hours of entertainment as they try to unlock all the game's secrets. As far as Fable games go, we feel this is the weakest in the series. It's not the title you want to give to your friend who is reluctant to try RPGs for the first time. If you haven't played a Fable game before, we recommend the original or Fable 2 before taking a stab at Fable 3. However, as far as Western RPGs go, it's still a very good game. It certainly has more than its fair share of issues, but if you can look past them, Fable 3 is one hell of an adventure.